Opus Uncensored, by students,
for students. Opus Uncensored is recorded on the grounds of Callaghan campus. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of these lands, the Pamalong clan of the Awabakal people, and extend our respect to all Indigenous peoples listening. We also extend this acknowledgement and respect to the Indigenous owners of the lands of our listeners. In doing so, we acknowledge that this land was never ceded, nor was it terra nullius.
Welcome back. So today on Uncensored, we're going to be talking about the Student Services and Amenities Fee, also called the SSAF fee, which we're going to do a bit of a handy explainer about because it can be a bit confusing, a bit misunderstood. It's this fee that all students pay, but we don't really know much more about it apart from that usually. So here with Jess and Lucas today, we're going to do a bit of an explainer for you. So Jess, do you want to tell us a bit about what SSAF is?
Yeah, so like Georgie said, it's pretty confusing. We know we have to pay it, we don't know why we have to pay it, we don't know what it is, and there's a little bit of an explainer on the university's website, but it's not that great. So really, SSAF, the Student Services and Amenities Fee, for full-time domestic students, that's that $313 you pay a year. So $150 bucks. Yeah, $150. Sorry, that was hot maths then. That's that $150 that you pay for at the start of every semester. And that money goes to the university and then is allocated according to the national guidelines. So SSAF is actually a national program that's overseen by the government, and there's 19 different categories. So all of this money gets pulled together, and then the university can allocate it to 19 pre-done categories. So there's no sort of moving the boundaries or doing whatever you want with it. You have to adhere to national guidelines. And so part of that means that 19 categories have to cover a whole range of different areas. That includes welfare, like food initiatives. It can also include extra events or particular operational things for businesses. But really, yeah, it's all different sorts of things. So there's national guidelines, and it's that $313 a year for the full-time students. That, of course, will change depending on what type of student you are. So if you're a part-time student, if you're an international student as well, you have different types of fees as well. But for full-time domestic students, it's $313 annually. So it helps pay for campus services and amenities for non-academic stuff, including, but not limited to, all the services UNcensored provides for the students of the University of Newcastle. You can pay your SSAF up front, or if you're eligible, use your SA help loan for the fee, which I think pretty much all of us do. I wish I was rich enough to pay for it up front, but alas, my HEX and my SSAF is getting up there. So it's confusing, right? But it aims to provide a balanced, practical approach to funding campus services and amenities for that. Including sporting, recreational activities. Georgie, you'll talk a bit more about stuff outside of the classroom. Lucas, you're going to talk about a few other cool bits and pieces that fall outside of that. So stay tuned for that. We also have SSAF stuff going towards like employment and career advice, things like childcare, financial, food services, student media, clubs, and campus activation events, which we know Alex loves to activate the campus. Yeah. So good stuff. SSAF's going towards good things, I promise.
That's right, and you also get to have a say in how it's spent. So you can always share your suggestions and comments about our SSAF-funded projects, and you can also give some confidential feedback, and that's normally available through an Ask UN form. So you normally get emailed that, I think, once a year, towards the end of the year, I believe, in which you can kind of influence how the university spends that money, and they'll rank it in terms of the responses they get. In particular, if you're looking to give some feedback on how UNcensored uses your SSAF fees, you can, take part in UNcensored elections. So you can either vote for a representative who you think aligns with your beliefs, or you can run yourself. Mm-hmm. Or alternatively, you can join a committee. So they will have expressions of interest in 2022.
That's it, and you can also talk to your student representatives currently sitting on the SRC about how you think SSAF should be spent as well. And the surveys that the uni sends out, they really do look at the results of those, and it can make a difference to how the money is spent, how your money is spent. So make sure you do take the time to fill out those surveys as well. They are important.
They are. They really are.
As we mentioned earlier, UNcensored, your student association, is also entirely SSAF funded. So all our amazing services and events that we provide for students, these are paid for by you and provided for you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how SSAF feeds into what UNcensored does. So in my portfolio, which is the experience and engagement space, so things out of the classroom, this includes SSAF being spent on the free barbecues that we all know and love and keep us going each week in between classes. It also helps fund the workshops that UNcensored runs, such as our lovely relaxing yoga workshops with Alex that have been really popular in semester 1. And it also helps fund student media, which is a really cool way for students to get their voice heard on campus.
And the podcast too.
And this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a good podcast? So yeah, as well as engagement events, things happen in the welfare space as well with UNCER's SSAF funding. That's my portfolio. So we've got our recent ones. Georgie talked a little bit about the barbecues and the food and things like that. But in that same sort of space, we've got our freezers initiative, which we spoke about in a couple other podcasts as well. $4 frozen meals with a cup of veggies. You can heat it up in the UNCER building. It's a pretty good time. So that's SSAF funded, as well as mental health and sensory spaces. So the part of the UNCER's renovations that are happening soon, we're going to have a mental health sensory safe space, and we're filling it with some really cool spots and places for students to go. So that's SSAF funded as well. And then you've got your gym exercise classes down in Ourimbah that are all free because it is SSAF funded. So that's important to note. Everything I'm about to tell you is free because it's through SSAF. So yeah, then you've got your pill testing kits, mental health first aid if you're looking at advancing your accreditations. It's an advanced mental health first aid course and first aid in general. Sanitary products, pads, tampons, as well as condoms too, that are available in the UNCER buildings, both at Ourimbah and here at Callaghan. And we've got your financial and legal workshops, as well as autonomous events at our collective. So specific equity groups at the university can run cool events, raise awareness, hang out with each other, and just advocate more broadly. So that's the welfare initiatives. That's just some of them. We do so much. But Lucas, did you want to tell everyone about everything else in between?
Yeah, the things in between. So clubs and societies. So the money that we're able to use as clubs and societies to run events and fun things like the poker club. We love a bit of SSAF money. And then there's also the coffee machine. So often you might hear in the background of the podcast, there's a coffee machine running. And that seems to be popular amongst people. So you can always come into UNCER and have a free coffee. And also there's the Nintendo Switch and TV that's been put in. So Mario Kart is available. Please come down and play Mario Kart.
If nothing else, just get your SSAF funding back by coming in and playing Mario Kart.
That's right. Yeah, so we just wanted to emphasise for people that you have already paid this fee, so make sure you take advantage of some of the services that we've mentioned through UNCER and through the uni. Give feedback on how SSAF is spent. And yeah, hopefully this podcast today has helped you explain a little bit about what SSAF is, why it matters. And if you have further questions, you can always message UNCER, get in touch, come and see us here at Callaghan and Ourimbah if you have more questions you want answered. So thanks for listening today.
And come on down and play some Mario Kart.
And Mario Kart. Get some coffee, most important.
That's the hot take for today. We do it every week. This is the hot take. Mario Kart. Go for it.
Until next time, you've been listening to Opus Uncensored
With Jess.
and Georgie.
And Lucas.